Dada, who is this man? My heart stopped. I turned to see my 4-year-old son, Milan, standing in the castle's grand main hall, his tiny finger pointing at an enormous gold-framed portrait. The painting dominated the fat wall like some kind of sacred shrine, and the face staring back from the canvas was mine, 7 years ago. Same eyes, same distinctive mark on my neck that I now kept hidden beneath scarves. The portrait was massive, clearly expensive, treated with reverence I didn't understand. Milan, we need to leave, my voice shook. I grabbed his small hand, tugging gently, but he remained rooted to the spot, mesmerized by the painting like he'd discovered buried treasure. You look beautiful here, Milan whispered, wonder filling his innocent voice. Like royalty from my storybooks, ice flooded my veins. This castle tour was supposed to be simple entertainment. We'd just relocated from California to New York because my hospital position transferred. Milan had begged to see the famous Twin Alpha Mafia castle tour trending across social media. It seemed harmless, tourist-friendly, safe, but now, staring at my own portrait, my carefully buried past rose like a ghost. Who dares enter the restricted wing? That voice, deep, commanding, cold, exactly how I remembered from nightmares I couldn't escape. I stopped breathing. My grip on Milan's shoulder tightened protectively. 2 men appeared in the doorway. Identical twins, impossibly tall with broad shoulders and perfectly carved jawlines. Immaculate black suits that screamed wealth and danger. Their scent hit me immediately. Sandalwood mixed with gunpowder, dragging me back 7 years in one devastating breath. Caden and Rylan, twin alphas, mafia leaders, and the men who destroyed me. 7 years since I'd fled this city with nothing but clothes and a secret growing in my womb. 7 years since I vowed never to return. Caden's eyes found mine first. He froze completely, time suspending around us. Rylan moved forward, predatory gaze shifting between Milan and me. His entire body tensed, muscles coiling beneath expensive fabric. Omega, that single word yanked me backwards through time. The night everything changed. The night I ran. The night I swore never to see these men again. Dada? Milan tugged my hand, confused by the sudden thick tension. We're going. My voice shook so badly I barely recognized it. Every Omega instinct screamed warnings. Run, hide. Protect your child. But Rylan took a deliberate step forward, blocking our exit entirely. You're staying. Caden's voice came quieter than his twins, yet somehow more intense, making my blood freeze. Parker, is it really you? My name. After 7 years of silence and wondering if they'd forgotten, they spoke my name like it still mattered. I pulled Milan behind me, shielding his small body with mine. Stay back. I'm nobody to you anymore. Rylan's jaw clenched, a muscle ticking visibly. You vanished 7 years ago without a trace. No scent trail, nothing. His eyes dropped to Milan and I watched realization dawn across his face. Ack transformed into understanding. Caden followed his twin's gaze, studying Milan with unsettling intensity, like solving a complex puzzle piece by piece. Then Milan, completely oblivious to the storm surrounding him, smiled up at the intimidating strangers. Are you my Dada's friends? Caden crouched slowly, carefully bringing himself to Milan's eye level. His voice softened in a way I'd never heard. What's your name, little one? Milan. My son answered proudly, puffing his small chest. Rylan's breath caught audibly. Caden stood abruptly, eyes snapping to mine. In that moment I saw everything flash across his expression. Shock, realization, betrayal, rage, hurt and desperate hope. How old is he? Rylan's voice dropped dangerously low, each word measured and controlled. I couldn't answer. My throat closed completely. Caden stepped closer, his alpha scent overwhelming and suffocating. Parker, answer. My hands trembled violently. I forced the words out. He's full. Complete silence. Then Caden's expression twisted into something I'd never witnessed, raw, unfiltered pain mixed with longing. You were pregnant, he whispered, voice cracking. You ran because you were carrying our— Don't. I cut him off sharply, my voice breaking despite attempts at strength. Don't finish that sentence. Rylan's fists clenched until knuckles turned white. You kept him from us. I protected him from you, I shouted, tears burning hot. You both made it crystal clear 7 years ago that an Omega like me meant absolutely nothing. Just a convenient body. Caden flinched like I'd physically struck him. Milan's small voice cut through the heavy tension. Dada, why are you crying? I wiped my eyes quickly, forcing a smile that felt like broken glass. I'm fine, baby. Let's go home now. But when I moved toward the door, Rylan blocked my path completely, his body an immovable wall. His eyes were dark, possessive, unyielding. You're not leaving this castle. Not this time. Never again. In that moment, staring up at the two alphas who haunted every dream and nightmare, I understood my carefully constructed safe life had just shattered completely. The tourists around us had gone eerily silent, watching the drama unfold. Guards appeared from shadows, surrounding us subtly but unmistakably. This wasn't a public tour anymore. This was a trap I'd walked straight into. Caden made a subtle gesture, and immediately the hall began clearing. Tourists were politely but firmly ushered toward exits by professional-looking staff members. Within minutes, the vast space held only us, Milan and Mavor alert guards positioned strategically. You can't do this, I whispered, panic rising. This is kidnapping. This is protection, Rylan countered smoothly. From yourself? Milan looked between the adults, his innocent face confused. Dada, what's happening? I'm scared. I knelt down, cupping his sweet face. It's okay, baby. Everything's okay. We're going home very soon. Liar, Caden said softly behind me. You're not going anywhere. I stood, spinning to face him. You have no right. We have every right, Rylan interrupted. That child is ours. You're ours. The bond mark you're hiding proves it. My hand flew instinctively to my neck, covered by the scarf. Did you really think we wouldn't recognize you? Caden asked quietly. Your scent is burned into our memory. 7 years changed nothing. It changed everything. I shot back. I built a life without you. A good life. Milan is happy, healthy, safe. Rylan's laugh was bitter. You've moved cities 4 times in 3 years. Working double hospital shifts just to survive. That's not safe. That's running scared. How did they know all this? Caden saw my shocked expression. We found you 3 days ago, Parker. We've been watching, making sure you were okay before approaching. We've seen everything. Betrayal and violation flooded through me. You've been stalking me? Protecting you, Caden corrected firmly. There's a difference. There's no difference. I moved desperately toward another exit, but guards stepped forward, blocking it. I was surrounded, trapped, and these alphas held all the power. Milan tugged my sleeve. Dada, I'm tired. Can we go home? Looking down at my son's exhausted face, I realized the terrible truth. We weren't going home. Not today. Maybe not. Rylan's voice came softer now. We're not monsters, Parker. We won't hurt you or Milan. But you need to understand you're not walking away again. Caden approached slowly, hands visible and non-threatening. Please, just talk with us. Upstairs. Privately. Let Milan rest somewhere comfortable. Then we'll discuss everything calmly. Every instinct screamed danger. But looking at Milan's tired eyes, I knew fighting would only traumatize him further. Fine, I whispered. But Milan stays with someone I trust. Derek, Rylan called, and a professional-looking beta stepped forward. My most trusted guard, former child protection specialist. Milan will be completely safe. I had no choice. No real choice at all. Let me go, Rylan. Right now. My hand still gripped Milan's tightly, protective and desperate, but Rylan remained an unmovable barrier in the doorway. Behind me, I felt Caden's presence. Close, deliberate, his alpha scent both defecating and intoxicating. We need to talk, Caden said quietly, his tone leaving zero room for argument. Not here, not with potential witnesses. Upstairs, in private. I'm not going anywhere with either of you. I tried keeping my voice steady, but inside I was crumbling, falling apart piece by piece. Rylan crouched gracefully, bringing himself to Milan's eye level, his intimidating presence softening remarkably. Hey champ, do you like castles? Milan's eyes lit up with pure innocent excitement. Yes, Dada never lets me explore big buildings like this. Well, Rylan said smoothly, warmth entering his voice in a way that made my chest physically ache. How about you go with Derek? He gestured toward the tall, serious Beta standing alert near the hallway. He'll show you authentic knight armor and real swords. Not the tourist replicas. Really? Milan looked up at me with those impossibly wide, hopeful eyes. Dada, please? Absolutely not, Milan. He'll be completely safe. Caden interrupted firmly, stepping beside me. Derek has worked for us 15 years. He's trained in child safety protocols. You have my word as an alpha. I hated this. Hated how Caden's voice still affected me, calm, authoritative, trustworthy in ways that bypassed all logical defenses. But what choice existed? If I tried escaping with Milan, they'd simply chase us down. These were powerful men with unlimited resources, and involving Milan in this tension wasn't an option. Fine, I whispered reluctantly. But Derek, if anything happens to him, nothing will, Rylan promised, standing and placing a hand on my shoulder. I jerked back instinctively. Hurt flashed across his features. Milan didn't notice the underlying tension. He happily left with Derek, chattering excitedly about swords and shields and becoming a knight. Then we were alone. The tourists had been quietly ushered away by other guards. Caden gestured toward the spiral staircase. Upstairs. Private study. Now, I followed because no real choice existed. Rylan walked behind me too close, his presence a constant reminder. I felt his dominance radiating in waves, his alpha aura suffocating. My omega instincts screamed conflicting commands. Submit, lower your eyes, accept your alphas, but also, run, protect yourself. Remember the pain. I wouldn't surrender. Not again. Never again. We entered a large, imposing study. Dark wood paneling, expensive leather furniture and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the massive estate. Books lined walls. The desk radiated power. Everything smelled overwhelmingly like them. Cedar, gunpowder, alpha dominance. Like a home I never had. No, not home. This was a trap. Caden closed the heavy door with a decisive click. Rylan leaned against the mahogany desk, arms crossed, studying me like I was a puzzle he'd finally completed. 7 years. Rylan began, voice tight with controlled emotion. You disappeared without one word. No goodbye. No explanation. I had reasons. My voice came out flat, defensive. Reasons? Caden's voice turned sharp, cutting. We searched everywhere, Parker. For months. We hired the best trackers, investigators, spent millions. We thought you'd died. Or worse, maybe death would have been better. The words escaped before I could stop them. Bitter and raw. Caden's face fell completely. Rylan's jaw tightened, pain flickering across his usually controlled expression. You honestly think that poorly of us? Rylan's voice held bitterness and wounds. That we wouldn't have wanted you? Wouldn't have what? I snapped, years of hurt exploding outward. Kept me? Loved me? Cherished me? You both made it abundantly clear that night that I was just convenient. Available. Temporary. Heavy silence hung between us. Caden stepped forward slowly, carefully. That's not what we said, Parker. You said this doesn't change anything. My voice cracked despite best efforts. I was bonded to you both. Marked. My scent covered you. My heat spent in your bed. And I said this doesn't change anything. Like I was worthless. Rylan exhaled harshly, running fingers through dark hair. We meant the business deal closing that week, Parker. Not you. Never you. How was I supposed to know that? Tears burned hot and furious. I woke up alone in that enormous bed. You'd both vanished. No note. No explanation. And when I went searching, your beta secretary Marissa told me, alphas don't keep omegas who can't guarantee heirs. Pack policy. She called me just another heat partner. Temporary entertainment. Caden froze completely, his face going pale. What did you just say? She said it was official pack policy, that I was disposable, used, that you'd both moved on already to suitable omega matches. Rylan's hand slammed onto the desk with such force the wood cracked audibly. That lying piece of trash. We never said anything like that, Caden said, his voice shaking with rage and desperation. Parker, we were arranging a proper bonding ceremony. Official, public. We were going to announce you as our mate to the entire pack. We had rings commissioned, a ceremony planned. I laughed bitterly, the sound harsh in the quiet study. Sure, That's why you never tried calling me afterward. Not once. We tried everything. Caden's voice rose, his usual control slipping. Your phone disconnected within hours. Your apartment was completely empty when we arrived. Your landlord said you'd broken the lease. Your clinic cost said you quit without notice. No forwarding address, because I discovered I was pregnant 2 days after that night. I shouted, my voice breaking. And if your pack policy really was use and discard omegas, then I couldn't bring my unborn child into that toxic environment. I had to protect him. Rylan stepped closer, his scent spiking with intensity. Milan is ours. No. I backed away until hitting the bookshelf. He's mine. Only mine. He's ours. Caden repeated, quieter but infinitely firmer. You can't deny biology, Parker. He has our eyes. Our scent markers. I can deny you access to him. My voice turned cold, protective instinct overriding everything. I've managed perfectly fine without you both for 4 years. Rylan's eyes darkened dangerously. Have you? Really? He gestured toward me, reading me like an open book. You're exhausted, Parker. Dark circles under your eyes. You've been raising a child completely alone, working double hospital shifts, moving cities annually just to survive. Don't lie to me. I can smell the stress radiating from you. How did he know about the hospital? About the constant moves? Caden saw my shocked expression and stepped closer. We located you 3 days ago, Parker. We've been watching, ensuring your safety. My blood turned to ice. You've been stalking me? For 3 days? Protecting you, Rylan corrected sharply. There's a significant difference. There's no difference. I moved toward the door desperately. I'm taking Milan and leaving this city tonight. Caden blocked me with his body, immovable as stone. You're not leaving this castle. Not now. Not ever. You can't keep me here like a prisoner. Watch us. Rylan's voice was absolutely final, the alpha command unmistakable. I looked between them frantically and suddenly felt it washing over me. The bond. Still there. Still alive. Pulsing beneath my skin. Even after 7 years of distance. Of trying to forget, of building bulls, my omega side recognized them instantly as my alphas. The mark on my neck that I'd hidden for years suddenly burned. That realization was destroying me from the inside. Please, I whispered, my last defense crumbling. Just let us go. Let us disappear. You'll forget about us eventually. Caden's hand cupped my cheek gently, thumb brushing away a tear I didn't know had fallen. We lost you once, Parker. We won't lose you again. Not you. Not our son. Before I could respond, before I could process anything, the door burst open violently. Derek stood there breathless and pale. Sirs, Milan is missing. What do you mean missing? My entire body went hollow, like someone had ripped my soul out. Caden and Rylan instantly shifted into full alpha mode. Body language sharp, deadly, dangerous. Derek looked genuinely shaken, guilt written across his features. I turned around for literally 2 seconds to properly lock the antique sword display case, and when I looked back he was gone. I've searched the entire 8-wing, the armory. He's 4 years old. I screamed, panic overtaking everything. How do you lose a 4-year-old in your own house? You promised he'd be safe. Rylan grabbed my shoulders firmly. Parker, breathe. We'll find him. I promise you. Don't touch me. I shoved him away hard, my omega panic making my distress scent flare intensely sweet like vanilla and distressed like burning sugar. Milan. Caden was already on his phone, barking rapid orders. Lock down the entire estate immediately. No one enters or leaves. Check every single room, closet, bathroom. Now. I ran frantically through the hallway, calling Milan's name desperately. My heartbeat was so loud I couldn't hear my own thoughts. What if he wandered outside to the grounds? What if someone took him? What if he's hurt? What if— Dada, Milan's voice. Faint but clear. Coming from upstairs. I sprinted up the grand staircase, nearly tripping, following the sound of my baby's voice. Rylan and Caden followed, their longer strides catching up. We reached a corridor I'd never seen before. Darker, older section of the castle. Locked doors lining the walls with ornate handles. One door stood slightly ajar, lights spilling out. My son stood inside, staring at something with wide, curious eyes. Milan. I rushed to him, scooping him into my arms tightly, checking him frantically for injuries. Don't you ever run off like that again. You scared me to death. Sorry, Dada, he mumbled against my shoulder. But look what I found. He pointed toward the room. I slowly walked inside, Milan still in my arms, and my heart sank into my stomach. It was a nursery. A perfect, beautiful nursery, completely preserved. White crib with intricate carvings, shelves full of toys still in packaging, soft blankets in pastel colors folded precisely, baby blue walls with hand-painted stars and moons, a rocking chair in the corner, everything dust-free, maintained, like someone regularly cleaned it with care and hope. What is this? My voice was barely a whisper, choked. Caden stepped inside slowly, his face unreadable but his eyes filled with old pain. We built it 7 years ago. For who? I asked, even though I was terrified of the answer. Ryland's voice was tight, controlled emotion barely contained. For you, for our future child, for the family we thought we'd have. I stared at them, complete disbelief choking me. You're lying. This is manipulation. We're not lying, Caden said quietly. He walked to the crib, running his hand reverently over the smooth railing. When you disappeared, we couldn't bring ourselves to dismantle it. We kept hoping, praying, that someday you'd come back, that we'd find you. Tears blurred my vision. Stop. Just stop this. Milan wriggled out of my arms and walked curiously toward a beautiful toy chest painted with forest animals. He pulled out a small stuffed wolf, hugging it. Dada, can I keep this? He's so soft. No, baby, we're not staying here, we're not. He can have it, Ryland said quietly, his voice rough. It was meant for him anyway. Everything in this room was meant for him. Milan beamed, hugging the wolf plushie close to his chest. I couldn't take this anymore. The emotions, the memories, the what-ifs. We're leaving. Right now. No. Caden's tone shifted. Pure alpha command that made my omega instincts freeze. You're staying here tonight, both of you. It's non-negotiable. You can't order me around. I just did. His eyes flashed gold. Alpha surfacing. It's already late evening. Milan is clearly tired. And honestly, Parker, so are you. You're running on fumes. I can smell the exhaustion on you. I wanted to fight. Wanted to scream. But he was absolutely right. Milan was yawning, rubbing his eyes tiredly. And I was exhausted. Physically, emotionally, completely drained. One night, I said through gritted teeth. My last attempt at control. One night only. Then we're gone. Ryland nodded slowly. One night, for now. Hours later, they led us to a luxurious guest room. Soft bed with expensive linens. Private bathroom. Windows overlooking gardens bathed in moonlights. I carefully laid Milan on the comfortable bed, stroking his soft hair gently. He was already half asleep, tired from the day's events. Wolf plushie clutched tight like a lifeline. Dada, he mumbled sleepily. Are those men my daddy? My hand stopped mid-stroke. Why would you think that, baby? Because they look at you the way the prince looks at the princess in my storybook. Like you're special, like they love you. Out of the mouths of babes, children see what adults try to hide. It's very complicated, sweetheart. Do they love you? His innocent question pierced straight through my defenses. I didn't answer. Couldn't answer. Milan yawned widely. I think they do. They made me a whole beautiful room. That means they love me too, right? My throat tightened, emotion closing it. Go to sleep, baby. We'll talk tomorrow. Okay. Love you, Dada. Love you too, my everything. When he peacefully fell asleep, I stood by the window staring out at the massive estate. The moon was full and bright, casting silver light over manicured gardens. And somewhere in this enormous castle, Caden and Rylan were probably planning exactly how to trap me here forever. A soft, polite knock on the door. I opened it cautiously. Caden stood there holding a silver tray, expensive tea, fresh cookies, fruit. Thought you might be hungry, he said gently. You barely ate anything all day. I didn't move, didn't invite him in. He sighed. Can I come in? Just to talk? I promise. Just talk. Against my better judgment, against every logical thought, I stepped aside. Caden set the tray down carefully on the side table, then sat on the edge of the upholstered chair, deliberately keeping distance, not crowding me. I know you don't trust us. I understand why. Understatement of the century. But I need you to understand something important. His eyes met mine, Vulnerable, raw, honest in a way I'd never seen. That night you left. It broke us completely. Parker. Rylan wouldn't eat for weeks. Couldn't sleep. I watched my twin waste away. We searched everywhere, exhausted every resource, called in every favor. You should have tried harder then. We did everything humanly possible. And when we finally painfully accepted you were gone, probably dead, we still couldn't move on. Every Omega we encountered wasn't you. Didn't smell right. Didn't feel right. He exhaled shakily. We built that nursery because we were desperate to hold on to some fragile version of the future we wanted. With you. Always you. I turned away, arms wrapped around myself protectively. It's too late for this. 7 years too late, is it? He stood slowly, carefully approaching. Because that bond mark on your neck says otherwise. My hand flew instinctively to my scarf. Don't. You never had it removed. Why not? His voice was soft, searching. Because I couldn't afford the expensive surgery. I lied, the words bitter. Liar. His voice was still soft but knowing. You kept it because part of you, deep down, still feels it. The bond. Us. And curse him to hell, he was absolutely right. Before I could form a response, Milan stirred in the bed. Dada. Bad dream. Caden stepped back instantly, respectfully. I'll go. But Parker, tomorrow we talk. Really truly talk. No more running. He left quietly, closing the door gently, and I stood there heart pounding violently, knowing with absolute certainty that no matter what I did, no matter how hard I fought, I was already trapped. The bond mark on my neck burned like fire, reminding me of everything I tried to forget. And in the bed, my son, their son, slept peacefully, clutching a toy wolf from a nursery built on broken dreams. Tomorrow would bring more confrontations, more revelations, more impossible choices, but tonight, I was simply exhausted. I climbed into bed beside Milan, holding him close and let the tears finally fall. I want answers. Real answers. Now. I sat at the breakfast table, arms crossed defensively across my chest. Milan was in his temporary room with Derek, happily watching cartoons and eating pancakes. Safe. Content. For now, Caden and Rylan sat across from me, perfectly composed, but their eyes tracked my every movement, like predators watching valuable prey they'd finally recaptured. What do you want to know? Rylan asked evenly, his coffee sitting untouched before him. Everything. I leaned forward. Tell me the truth. That night, what really actually happened after I left. No lies. Caden exhaled slowly, like he'd been waiting 7 years for this conversation. We woke up around noon. You were gone. No note, no message, no scent trail to follow. It was like you vanished into thin air, completely. And your secretary? Marissa? The one who told me I was disposable trash. Rylan's jaw clenched dangerously. Marissa. She was obsessed with Caden for years. Delusional. We didn't realize the extent until much later. She'd been systematically sabotaging any Omega who got close to us. Intercepting calls. Spreading lies. Manipulating situations. So you're conveniently saying she lied about everything? Yes. Caden's voice was absolutely firm. We confronted her 2 months after you disappeared, when we finally found inconsistencies in her story. She admitted everything. How she intercepted your frantic calls that morning, told you our pack policy nonsense that didn't exist, even spread rumors in Omega circles that we'd already moved on to suitable matches. And what did you do to her? My voice was cold. She's no longer with us, Rylan said with deadly calm. Permanently. She'll never hurt anyone again. A chill ran down my spine. I didn't ask what permanently meant with Mafia alphas. I didn't want to know. Why didn't you look harder for me? My voice cracked despite my attempt at strength. If you supposedly cared so much, why did you give up? We didn't give up, Caden said desperately, leaning forward. Parker, we hired every tracker in 5 states, every private investigator, pulled strings with law enforcement, offered massive rewards. But you hear your tracks perfectly like you'd been trained. New city, new job, new identity, fake documents. It was like Parker ceased to exist. I had to. Tears threatened again. I genuinely thought I was protecting Milan from a life where he'd never be wanted, never be loved, just be a mistake. Rylan stood abruptly, his chair scraping loudly against hardwood. Not wanted? Do you have any idea what you've stolen from us? Rylan, Caden warned. No. Rylan's voice boomed, pain and rage mixing. 4 years, Parker. 4 entire years of his life we'll never get back. First steps we didn't see. First words we didn't hear. First laugh. First tooth. First everything. His hands were shaking. You took our son from us. Our child. He's my son. I shot back, standing to match his energy. I carried him for 9 months alone. I raised him alone. You don't get to just suddenly claim him because of biology. Biology? Rylan laughed bitterly. You're bonded to us. Marked. He has our scent markers. Our eyes, look at his eyes, Parker. Our alpha traits already showing. He has my everything. I screamed, years of pain exploding. I was there when he was sick at 2 a.m. with fever. I was there when he learned his first word, Dada. I was there when he asked why he didn't have daddies like other kids at daycare. My voice broke completely. Where were you? Where? Silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. Caden stood slowly, his expression completely shattered. You're right. Rylan looked at him, shocked by the admission. You're right, Caden repeated, voice rough. We weren't there, through no fault of ours, but we still weren't there, and that's our failure to carry. But Parker, he stepped closer carefully. We're here now, and we're not walking away again. We can't. We won't. I don't want you here in our lives. Liar, Rylan said quietly, reading me. If you genuinely didn't want us, you would have run the absolute second you saw us yesterday. But you didn't. I stayed for Milan's safety. No. Caden's hand gently tilted my chin up, forcing eye contact. You stayed because you feel it too. The bond. It never broke, never faded. It's still there, burning. And before I could pull away, Rylan was behind me, his overwhelming scent wrapping around me like a familiar blanket. Let us in, Parker. Please. Let us prove we've changed. My Omega side was screaming desperately. Yes. Yes. Accept them. Complete the bond. But my logical, scarred side knew better. Knew the pain. I can't, I whispered. You'll hurt me again. Break me again. Never, Caden vowed intensely. We'll spend the rest of our lives proving that, however long it takes. A door slammed open violently. Derek burst in, face pale. Sirs, we have a serious problem. Rylan's alpha tone came out instantly. What? Someone's been asking detailed questions about Parker in town. Near the hospital. A rival pack. Devereaux family. My blood froze. What? Caden's expression darkened dangerously. Who specifically? Lorraine Devereaux himself. He knows Parker's here. Rylan cursed viciously under his breath. I looked between them, panic rising. Who are the Devereaux? What do they want? Enemies, Caden said tightly. They've been trying to take our territory, our businesses for years. If they know about you, they'll use you to destroy us, Rylan finished grimly. Then I'll leave tonight, I said immediately. I'll take Milan and disappear again. Better this time, no. Both alphas spoke in perfect unison. Caden gripped my shoulders. You're not running. Not this time. We'll protect you properly. How? They're clearly dangerous. Rylan's eyes flashed gold. By doing what we should have done 7 years ago. He pulled something from his pocket. A small velvet box, clearly expensive. Caden opened it slowly. Inside were 2 rings, simple but elegant platinum bands, clearly custom-made with small inscriptions inside. Marry us, Caden said seriously. Officially bond with us properly. Become our Omega under pack law, publicly. They won't dare touch you then. I stared at the rings, heart pounding. You're insane. We're desperate, Rylan corrected. And we're done losing you. I need time to think. We don't have time, Caden interrupted. Devereaux doesn't play fair. Doesn't follow rules. If they find out about Milan, the unspoken threat hung heavy in the air. I thought of my son, my baby. Upstairs, safe, innocent, unaware of the dangerous world surrounding him, and I made the hardest decision of my life. Fine, I whispered, but this is for Milan's protection. Not for us. Not for feelings. Rylan's hand cupped my face gently. Keep telling yourself that, Omega. And as Caden slid the ring onto my finger with reverent care, I realized I just signed my soul back to the alphas who broke me. The ring fit perfectly. like it had been made for me 7 years ago, because it had been. I stared down at the platinum band circling my finger, the weight of it both terrifying and strangely comforting. Through the delicate metal I could see tiny inscribed words on the inside. Always ours. Always home. They'd planned this. 7 years ago they'd actually planned this. When? I asked hoarsely. When did you have these made? Caden's expression softened. The day after we met you. We knew immediate. Knew what? That you were ours. Ryland said simply. That we'd found our mate. Our forever. Tears burned my eyes again. Then why did everything go so wrong? Because we were idiots. Caden admitted. We thought we had time. We thought we could balance everything, the business deal, the ceremony planning. We didn't realize Marissa was poisoning everything head in our backs. We failed you, Rylan added quietly. But we won't fail again. Derek cleared his throat awkwardly. Sirs, the Devereaux situation, reality crashed back. The danger, the threat. Prepare the ceremony, Caden ordered. Tonight? We're not waiting. Tonight? I gasped. Tonight, Rylan confirmed. Before Devereaux makes his move. Once you're officially bonded under pack law, you're untouchable. Protected by treaties centuries old. I wanted to argue, wanted to demand more time. But looking at their determined faces, I knew this was happening whether I was ready or not. And maybe, deep down, part of me didn't want to wait either. I can't believe I actually agreed to this. I stood before the mirror, staring at the ring on my finger. It felt heavy. Foreign. Right. No. Not right. Convenient. Safe. Necessary. Liar. My Omega whispered. A soft knock. Caden stepped in, dressed in an impeccable black suit. Ready? No, he smiled faintly. Good. Neither are we. But we're doing this anyway. Then why are we doing this? Because, he said, stepping closer, whether you admit it or not, you belong with us. And we're not letting Devereaux or anyone else take you away again. The ceremony was small. Private. Just Rylan, Caden, me and a distinguished pack elder who officiated. Milan sat in the front row swinging his legs happily, completely oblivious to the weight of what was happening, just excited to see his Dada getting married. Do you, Parker, accept these alphas as your bonded mates under pack law? I looked at Caden, then Rylan. Their eyes were locked on me, desperate, possessive, hopeful, vulnerable. I do. The words left my mouth. The elder smiled warmly. Then by ancient pack law you are bonded. Rylan's hand slid to the back of my neck possessively, fingers brushing the old bond mark that had never faded. Finally, you're officially ours. Caden leaned in, whispering against my ear. You're ours now, Omega. No more running. No more hiding. I wanted to argue, but when Milan suddenly ran up, hugging all three of us together, giggling happily, we're a family now. A real family. I couldn't find words, because maybe, just maybe, buried deep down, I wanted this too. The elder performed the traditional bonding ritual, ancient words in a language I didn't understand, but felt in my bones. He placed our joined hands together, wrapping them in a ceremonial cloth. What the bond has joined, let no enemy tear apart, he intoned. What fate has written, let no force erase. Power surged through the connection. I gasped as the bond mark on my neck flared hot, then settled into a warm, pulsing presence. The incomplete bond from 7 years ago suddenly completed, snapping into place with almost physical force. Caden's eyes widened. Do you feel that? Yes, I breathed. The bond was alive now, thrumming between the three of us like a living thing. Rylan's hand tightened on mine. You're ours now. Completely. Irrevocably. Milan clapped excitedly. Does this mean I get 2 daddies forever? Forever, Caden confirmed, scooping him up. The elder blessed us one final time, then departed, leaving us alone in the private chapel. What happens now? I asked quietly. Now, Rylan said, we make sure Devereaux knows exactly who you belong to. That night I carefully put Milan to bed in our shared room. He was excited, talking non-stop about his 2 daddies and how cool they were. Dada, can Caden teach me to fight like a knight? Maybe when you're much older, baby. Can Rylan show me his cool guns? Absolutely not. Never. He pouted adorably, then smiled brightly. I'm happy, Dada. Are you? Such a simple, innocent question. But the answer was so complicated. I'm trying to be, I said honestly. Good. Because I love them already. He yawned. And they love you so much. I can tell. Kids see things adults refuse to acknowledge. When he finally fell asleep peacefully, I quietly left the room. The estate was silent, moonlight spilling through tall windows like liquid silver. I found myself wandering toward the nursery again, drawn by something I couldn't. Caden was already there, sitting in the rocking chair. Can't sleep? He asked gently. Too much on my mind. He gestured to the crib. We added new things today. For Milan. Thought maybe he'd want to stay here sometimes. Make this his room. You're assuming we're staying permanently, aren't you? His eyes met mine. You married us, Parker. That means something. Whether you admit it or not, it means I'm protecting my son from your enemies. Keep lying to yourself. He stood, approaching slowly. But I see the way you look at us. The way your scent changes when we're near. You want this. I don't. He kissed me. Soft. Achingly gentle. Tender. And every lie I'd built shattered like glass. When he pulled back, I was breathless. Still think you don't want this? He whispered. Before I could answer, Rylan appeared in the doorway. Am I interrupting something important? No, Caden said, smirking. Just reminding our Omega what he's been missing. Rylan's eyes darkened with desire. Good. Because I've been patient long enough. He crossed the room in 2 powerful strides, pulling me into a kiss that was anything but gentle. Possessive. Consuming. Claiming. Years of wanting poured into it, and God help me, I kissed him back just as desperately. When we finally broke apart, I was trembling. We're not rushing you, Rylan murmured against my lips. But we're not pretending anymore either. You're ours, Parker. And we're yours. Caden's arms wrapped around me from behind, his scent grounding me, completing something. Let us love you. The way we should have 7 years ago. The way we always wanted to. And for the first time since I'd run, I let myself believe. Maybe this could work. Maybe we could be a family. Maybe. An enormous explosion rocked the entire estate, shattering windows. The nursery windows exploded inward. Caden threw himself over me, shielding me from the glass. Rylan was already moving, pulling a gun from somewhere hidden. Stay down, Caden ordered. Alarms blared throughout the estate. Red emergency lights flickered on. Devereaux, Rylan growled. He's attacking now. Tonight. My heart stopped. Milan. I tried to run but Caden held me back. Derek's with him. He'll protect him. We need to get you to safety first. I'm not leaving my son. Our son. Rylan corrected. And we're all getting to him. Together. Another explosion, closer this time. The estate shuddered. Caden pulled me toward a hidden panel in the nursery wall. Emergency passage. Go straight to Milan's room. We ran through dark corridors, following paths I didn't know existed. Behind us I could hear gunfire, shouting, chaos. How many? Caden asked into a comm device. 15 breached the perimeter. A voice crackled back. More coming. Devereaux brought an army, Rylan said grimly. We burst into Milan's room. Derek stood guard, Milan clutched in his arms, eyes wide with fear. Dada. Milan reached for me. I grabbed him, holding him tight. I've got you, baby. You're safe. We need to move, Derek said. The safe room. Now. But before we could move, the door exploded inward. Smoke. Fire. Screaming. Glass everywhere. Milan. I clutched him tighter, sheer panic drowning every logical thought. Rylan and Caden were already moving with deadly efficiency, guns drawn, shouting rapid orders into communication devices. Get to the safe room. Caden yelled at Derek. Now. Go. Derek nodded, trying to take Milan from my arms. But my son clung to me, terrified. We ran down the hallway, Derek leading, Caden and Rylan covering our backs. Behind us, the sounds of combat grew louder. Gunfire, shouting, breaking glass. We turned a corner and came face to face with a heavily armed Alpha. Devereaux soldier. He smiled, cold, predatory. Well, well. The lost Omega. You're worth a fortune. Derek stepped forward protectively. Back off. The Alpha laughed. Or what? A gunshot. Clean. The Alpha dropped dead. Rylan stood at the end of the hall. Gun smoking, expression lethal. Run. Now. I ran, clutching Milan tight against my chest. Derek led us down, into a heavily reinforced steel room deep below the estate. You'll be safe here, Derek said, sealing the heavy door with multiple locks. Milan was crying. Dada, what's happening? I'm scared. It's okay, baby. We're okay, we're safe. I held him tight, praying I wasn't lying. But I didn't know if that was true. The safe room was sparse. Concrete walls, emergency supplies, a small cot, no windows, one reinforced door, a prison or a sanctuary depending on perspective. How long do we wait? I asked Derek. Until they give the all clear, he said, checking his weapon. Could be hours, hours. Trapped underground while Caden and Rylan fought for their lives above us. I sat on the cot, rocking Milan gently. He eventually cried himself to sleep against my chest, exhausted by fear. Tell me honestly, I whispered to Derek. What are our chances? Derek was quiet for a long moment. Caden and Rylan are the best fighters I've ever seen. If anyone can win this, it's them. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have, he admitted. Time crawled. Minutes felt like hours. I listened to the muffled sounds above, explosions, gunfire, screaming. Each sound made my heart stop. The bond mark on my neck burned. Through it, I could feel them. Caden's cold fury, Rylan's savage focus. They were alive, fighting, winning. Please let them be winning. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Derek's calm crackled to life. All clear, Caden's voice came through, rough and exhausted. Devereaux is dead. It's over. Relief flooded through me so intensely I nearly collapsed. Derek unlocked the door. Let's get you upstairs. I carried the sleeping Milan up through the emergency passages, back into the estate. The damage was extensive. Shattered windows, bullet holes in walls, blood stains on expensive carpets. But we'd survived. Caden and Rylan found us in the main hall, covered in soot and blood. Not theirs, thankfully, but evidence of violence. Is it over? I asked, Milan asleep in my arms from exhaustion. For now, Rylan said grimly. But Devereaux won't stop. This was just the first attack. Wait, you said he was dead. Laurent Devereaux is dead, Caden clarified. But the family is large. They'll retaliate. My heart sank. So this never ends? It ends, Rylan promised darkly. We'll make sure of it. Caden crouched carefully in front of Milan, watching him sleep. Hey champ, Milan stirred, opening his eyes. Daddy Caden? Are you okay? Caden's breath hitched at the title. Yeah, I'm okay. Daddy Rylan too? Rylan's eyes watered. Yeah buddy. We're all okay now. Milan hugged them both tightly, and in that moment I saw it. The family we could actually be. The future we could have. Later, when Milan was asleep again in the secure room, I confronted them. I can't do this long term, I said. I can't put him in constant danger. Then don't, Caden said. Let us handle it. How? Rylan's expression was deadly serious. We end the Devereaux family. Permanently. Completely. And if you die trying, we won't, Caden promised. Because we have something to live for now. Everything to live for. He took my hand. Rylan took the other. We'll protect you, both of you. And when this war is over, we'll build the life we should have had 7 years ago. Together. I wanted to believe them. And maybe, just maybe, I finally did. The next 3 months were brutal. Caden and Rylan waged war against the Devereaux family systematically, methodically. I stayed in the estate with Milan, protected by dozens of guards. But slowly the threats diminished. The attacks stopped. The Devereaux family, once powerful, crumbled under the twins' relentless assaults. And then, one day, it was over. Epilogue. Dada. Watch me. Milan was running through the estate garden, Caden chasing him playfully, both laughing freely. Rylan wrapped his arms around me from behind. Happy? I leaned into him, finally letting myself feel it. Yeah, I think I really am. The Devereaux threat was gone. Eliminated. The danger had passed. And for the first time in 7 years, I felt safe. Caden jogged back, Milan on his shoulders. He wants a sibling, I choked. What? Milan grinned. Baby brother. Or sister. Please. Rylan smirked. We could arrange that. I blushed furiously. You're all insane. Maybe, Caden said, kissing my forehead. But we're yours. And as Milan giggled, nestled between his 2 daddies and me, I realized this chaotic, messy, perfect family was everything I'd ever wanted. I was finally home. The bond mark on my neck pulsed warmly, completed and content. The rings on our fingers caught the sunlight, and Milan's laughter filled the air. 7 years of pain, 7 years of running, 7 years of hiding, all leading to this moment, this perfect, impossible, beautiful moment. I love you, I whispered to them both. Caden smiled. We know. We've always known. We love you too, Rylan added. Always have. Always will. Milan tugged my sleeve. Dada, can we have ice cream? I laughed. The sound free and genuine. Yes, baby. We can have ice cream. As we walked toward the house together, my family complete at last, I looked back at the castle that had once been my prison. Now it was home. And I was never leaving again.